millions of people move into stricter COVID restrictions as hundreds tried to leave London before the rules kicked in.
Christmas plans are ruined as the relaxation of rules is severely scaled back. Millions in Tier 4 are told they cannot mix with other households at all.
It is with a very heavy heart, I must tell you, we cannot continue with Christmas as planned.
Take a look at today's paper. We start with the Sunday Telegraph, and the new restrictions announced by Boris Johnson dominates all of the front pages, to be honest. At Christmas cancelled for millions, that's their headline. The article picks out a quote from England's Chief Medical Officer, Professor Chris Witty, advising those placed under Tier 4 to unpack their bags.
Let's take a look at the Sunday Mirror next. Lost Xmas, the headline on the front page there, which says there is public fury over the government's last-minute announcement.
The Mail on Sunday asks, will this nightmare ever end? The front page also features comedian Bill Bailey, who won this year's Strictly Come Dancing last night with his professional partner, Oti.
And the result of Strictly, also one of the most read stories over on the BBC News website. At 55, Bill becoming the oldest celebrity to lift the Glitterball trophy, beating Maisie Smith from EastEnders and Harvey, the singer.
You see, what does that tell you? Even on a day when we've had to change our Christmas plans radically, millions of people have had to, still, the top story on the BBC website is Strictly Come Dancing. Did you tune in?
I did. And as we were saying, it's the escapism thing,
yes,
isn't it?
Totally.
But if you'd found yourself, you know, trying to digest the news and then all those awkward conversations that so many of us had to have with family,
yeah,
to be able to throw that on, even if, like me, you know absolutely nothing about dancing, you can just allow your brain to switch away from all of the sort of bleakness, can't you?
Are you not a shimmier then, Chris?
I'm not much of a shimmier. I am dad dancer, not very extraordinaire. I think it's probably the best way to describe it.
You were saying earlier the Duchess of Cornwall paying tribute to Strictly was a real moment, wasn't it? And she said this lifted the whole country's spirits in this particularly difficult time. She thanked everyone for coming together, and she said she was really exciting. She knew who she was going to be voting for, but she did not give it away.
Just going to have a quick look inside the Sunday Telegraph. This was on the BBC News website yesterday, actually, but it's worth a mention, which is this particular mug that is selling rather well, which is a Chris Witty "Next slide, please" mug, the must-have Christmas gift. I think the BBC News website's write-up of this yesterday referred to the fact that Chris Witty is outselling Britney Spears when it comes to mugs. Now, England's Chief Medical Officer. Someone who, well, I guess a year ago, you know, you could have sat next to on the bus, and you could sit next to somebody on the bus and you wouldn't have known who he was.
I didn't know Britney mugs were a big thing.
Well, no, I suspect it maybe, just maybe, a journalist in writing that headline was looking for, I wonder which celebrity might have sold a lot of mugs a long time ago, but now perhaps
in the
doesn't.
past. I think what's really good this morning in most of the papers, I'm looking at the Mail on Sunday here, but all of them actually are giving you a really clear guide as to where you stand depending on what tier you're in. The Sun here, what does Tier 4 mean? No indoor household mixing, staying within your own household even at Christmas. Don't visit other households over Christmas while living in Tier 4, Tiers 1, 2 and 3. Visit relatives indoors, but only on Christmas Day. Chris Witty and Patrick Vallance, of course, urging people yesterday to stay local and keep visits as short as possible.
Quick story about Neanderthals before we move on. This from the... is it Neanderthals or Neanderthals? I've never quite known. Anyway, people who lived rather a long time ago and vaguely looked like us.
Yeah.
It seems like they had a good idea. I know what they would have done this winter, given the news from yesterday. They would have hibernated. Suggestion in the Observer that scientists have discovered effectively a mass grave in Spain with bones dating back 400,000 years. And they've managed to look at the remaining bones and detected that suggests that early humans may have sort of thrown themselves into a cave for the winter.
Really?
And emerged out at the other side, having been in something of a slumber. The scientists have something of a discussion and debate as to whether or not that actually counts as hibernation, or whether it was just a long kip. And there is a distinction between the two. It's to do with the size of the brain and whether a human brain would be able to...
Well, that's what I was thinking, without water.
Yes, and indeed
for
food.
Months, for weeks and weeks, yeah.
So, early humans surviving harsh winters by hibernating, which I think we've all
I
probably
wish I'd known we
toyed
had
with
that
once or twice.
capacity back in March. It's exactly what I would have done for the
Exactly,
summer,
just
not the winter.
Sleep out 2020 entirely.
If
Would have
only.
been
We've nearly got to the
remarkably
end of it, though, haven't
good
we?
advice, exactly.